Hello. Hello, this is Philip Carr-Gomm. Welcome to Tea with the Druid 172 on this bank holiday Monday evening. It's lovely to be with you. Welcome. And welcome if you're watching the recording as well, of course. And let me know, I can see, I'll just switch to the comments here. Lovely to see everybody arriving. And this evening, I realized that I could reproduce the imagery in the Druid Animal Oracle card that is so fitting for this time of the year, this season, of the hare in front of the Dolmen, the Cromlech, by putting the Easter bunny that Steph had given me and a lovely heirloom. It's one of my most treasured heirlooms that was given to my grandfather by he started the Straight Track Club with Alfred Watkins, and they made this. It's fantastically heavy, but you can see here the Straight Track Club. It's just a beautiful heavy bronze object that when he retired he was presented with this. Whoa! And as you can see, the top comes off and you can see the stones, the arrangement of the stones there inside the cromlech. And the reason I wanted to show it to you was because, of course, this is the time of Easter, which in the Christian tradition is the time of the resurrection. And in the pagan calendar, the nature spiritual way, it's the time where in the Northern Hemisphere, we see this tremendous rebirth and resurrection of life in the greenery around us. And one of the theories as to why hares, which later turned into the Easter bunny, are associated with chocolate eggs, which doesn't seem to make sense, is because hares sleep in forms. They sleep in, they don't burrow into the ground like rabbits. They sleep in comfortable kind of nests, which are very much like lapwing nests. And so when the lapwing eggs are found in these forms in the long grass, you could be forgiven for thinking that the hares had brought them. So, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the themes that we see here, because there's something rather interesting about the eightfold year, which is that we're coming up in the Northern Hemisphere, we're coming towards the time of Beltane, which is, in one way of looking at it, the only time, the only festival where we've pretty much shaken free from ideas and associations with death. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is I believe the case, that as we move from now into the time of Beltane, the full flood of spring as it shifts into summer. May is one of the most beautiful times in Britain, certainly. The festival is given over entirely to the life force and to that wonderful bursting, vigorous manifestation of physical life on Earth in all its forms. But as you travel around the year, you get to the summer solstice, and although that too is dedicated to sunlight at its maximum, there is, of course, the knowledge that already the days is going to start getting shorter. And in some enactments of the summer solstice, you have the battle between the oak and the holly king. And whether or not that's a recent invention or not, the fact is it's recognizing the fact that the battle between light and dark already, even on the 21st of June or 20th of June, whenever it is, even then, the dark is starting to triumph with longer nights. And then you move, of course, to Lammas, Lunacy, and there's John Barleycorn cutting the corn down. Moving into the autumn equinox, where the sun is setting in the west. We have all those wonderful images of the barge carrying the body of the king or the queen into the west. And then the Isles of the Blessed, the Isles of the Departed, the other world. Moving to Samhain, where finally we surrender and let go and are freed of the body. And we travel through the other world, the realms of the dead, if you like. And then there's the time of rebirth at the winter solstice, that hint of light and of the fact that the light is beginning to triumph, the days are getting longer, and then this momentum continues to Imbolc, where the first flowers start to pop up out of the ground. And then we get to the spring equinox, Albanila, the light of the earth, Easter, and this time of celebration, of incarnation, if you like, of being embodied. And of course, I hesitated for a moment when I wanted to talk to you about this, because I thought, well, maybe is this rather gloomy? I mean, we're just kind of coming out of so many things, and we want to celebrate life. Should I mention this kind of characteristic of the eightfold year? But of course, it's only gloomy if you think that leaving this world is a bad thing. If you believe in other worlds, if you believe in the continuity of consciousness, if you believe in reincarnation, or you believe in the continuity of life, then it's just all part of this beautiful pattern. And just thank you, Jason, for saying that. Des Neiges, what a lovely name you have, of the snows, Jason of the Snows. Wonderful way to encapsulate the wheel of the year. So here we have the Easter bunny, the hare, and the reason the dolmen is there is, of course, this is the place of rebirth, because this is where the body would be laid, and this would be covered with earth. We only see this structure because the earth has fallen away from it, and perhaps, of course, this is the gateway between the worlds. So it's a place not only of death, but of rebirth. So at this time of year, it's really significant. This time of rebirth and hatching from the egg, this wonderful symbol of the aura of the self, and of all sorts of interesting resonances with the Orphic mysteries, and ideas of birth and of hatching when the time is right, when it's warm enough. And what does this mean at another level? It's talking, I think, about promise. There's the promise of spring. That's the dynamic we're engaged with now here in the Northern Hemisphere, the promise of spring. We're looking forward, we're planning, we're preparing, we're expectant for the promise of spring and of summer. And at the opposite side of the year, the autumn equinox, it's fulfillment. That's the harvest. That's where that promise is fulfilled, we hope. And so this idea of promise is fantastic. If you think of just the word promise, it's think of a school report. This is what comes to mind. School report. Douglas has a lot of promise. There's Jane, there's a lot of promise in Jane. What it means is potential. It's another way of talking about potential. This idea that there's like a seed or a potential, there's promise in this person that you hope will bloom. So I thought it would be nice to do a meditation around this idea of promise and potential. And Shelby, I explain where the dolmen comes right at the beginning of the broadcast. The best, let's see what Daniel says. The best of this life is that we will never leave this world. We have been here before, and this will be after this human condition, just in another form. Let's get reborn again and again and again. Yes. So, let's do a meditation now, if you're ready for it, which is just to take some time to get yourself comfortable and just to become aware of being seated in front of your computer or your screen. And there's a way in which you can be fully present to being in front of your screen, being where you are at home, but at the same time, allowing your imagination to sense the fact that you are actually moving towards the sacred grove, towards this magical clearing of the Druids in the forest, this place of promise and potential, this place where magic can happen, where you can deepen your consciousness and awareness. And you see yourself moving through the trees and coming out into this clearing on a beautiful spring morning. There's this soft sunlight, bright perhaps, but not too hot. And the trees are just starting to come into green. And you find a comfortable spot on the ground. You touch the ground and you feel that it's actually quite dry, so you can sit down on it. And you sit on the ground and you just close your inner eyes for a moment just to tune in. And what you do is you tune into the atmosphere, first of all, just feeling your way into this place. The sense of freshness, the energy of the land and of nature all around you. And then you become aware of this sense of life. You can feel life everywhere. You feel life in the ground beneath you. All the creatures that live in the ground, the water that's in the ground, the stones and minerals, all that life. And all that life has its emanations, its auras, its aromas, its energy. And you realize that you can just bask in this and allow however much of this energy you wish into your being. And you feel fed by this energy in the earth. And then you sense the roots of the trees around you. And they're alive too. And you can feel those roots reaching deep into the earth. And they're drawing up energy from the earth and moisture from the earth. And this energy and this moisture is freely given, and it flows up the trunks of the trees, up into the branches, and out into the leaves. And you sense that you're in the presence of all these trees, these living beings, these brothers and sisters of ours. And you're bathing in their energy, in their auras. And again, this life flows into you and through you as much as you wish. And you become aware of the blue sky above. And you breathe in the fresh air, and you breathe in the energy of the sky which flows into you. And the energy of the sky meets the energy of the earth within the center of your being. And then you ask yourself, what is this being that I am? And you sense yourself as energy, as light, as consciousness. And you remember how the chakras are depicted as flowers. And you realize that you can just breathe in, sensing your chakras, your energy centers, as flowers that are gently blossoming. And they say we have many energy centers within our auras, within our energy fields. And so now, without straining, without trying hard at all, but just simply relaxing and breathing in all this life force and energy that's around you, as you breathe out, just imagine the promise in these flowers just starting to blossom. Perhaps you sense flowers in your hair. As you breathe in, the energy flows into your being. And as you breathe out, these beautiful flowers start to blossom in your hair. And as you breathe in, the energy flows into your being. And you sense these flowers with their beautiful perfume and colors, sparkling and glowing with light and energy in your aura. And you can smell these flowers now, and just to allow yourself to move from imagining in vision to imagining in perfume with the sense of smell. And just imagine you can smell all these beautiful flowers. And again, one of the tricks to these things is not trying too hard. And if one can't really sense anything, just telling yourself that you can, just pretending that you can. Just flexing that muscle of imagination and just breathing in the perfume of these flowers. And you realize that you can let go of your sense of self and just relax into the softness of the petals, into the smell of the flowers, into the color of the petals. And switch, if you can, your mode of sensing now to that of feeling. So you're just feeling now the softness of these petals, perhaps as if you're lying in a bed of petals. And now just gently allow your awareness of these petals, of their softness, to gently fade, of the perfume of the flowers to gently fade. Of your awareness of the blossoms to gently fade. To become aware of being seated in the sacred grove. And as you open your inner eyes in the sacred grove, you see a hare just in the clearing ahead of you. their eyes intent on you and sparkling. And just take a moment to be with the hare. And you give thanks to the hare for their blessing. And you in turn give your blessing to the hare. A blessing on your life, dear hare. A blessing on this sacred grove. A blessing on the land. And as you look around the grove, it's as if you can almost sense the leaves growing. You can see the brightness of the green. You can feel the warmth of the sun. You touch the ground with the palm of your hand or the palms of both hands, sending your love to the earth. And then you bring your hands up to your heart and you hold them to your heart. A blessing on the land, a blessing on our lives. And then you gradually allow your awareness of the sacred grove to fade as you become aware of being seated here in front of your screen. And when you feel ready, you stretch your fingers and toes and open your eyes. It's lovely to hear about your garden, Jules. My garden gave its promise. I've been working for weeks now, and the sunshine has given its warmth, bringing the magic of new shoots and buds. Beautiful. Eliette saw 2 hares, a black squirrel, and then beautiful wolf prints in the snow. Eliette, that's marvelous. Where are you living? You're somewhere in France, I think. Tell us where you live, where you saw that. We were talking about black squirrels this evening, actually. My spring energy-filled cat somehow calmed down right in time, Fred. Thank you, and to everyone in the grove. So thank you. And Turi's got the scent of lapis lazuli, snow and apple blossom. Eliette is in the Vercors mountain. I think I might fly there on Google Earth after this and have a look at the Vercors mountains. Somebody was bathing in a bed of primroses. That how lovely. Bathing in primroses. Yes, that's that's great. Lovely. So look, it's been lovely to be with you and have a wonderful week. And next Monday at tea, Roma Johnson will be having tea with you before she flies back to Princeton after having spent 6 months over here in the UK. And just looking at Ariana, it's odd. I'm able to smell and feel more easily than actually visualize. Well, exactly. That's the interesting thing. It's quite interesting to go into a meditative state and just go through your senses. You know, we did that a bit in this meditation. We started off with visual images, then we went to smell, then we went to touch, and we could have gone to taste. I could have suggested you drank some water or an elixir or something like that. So you can run through your senses and see which are your strong points, which are your weak points. And then, like anything, if you work with it, you can develop it and develop your inner senses. So have a lovely week. Much love to you. And I'll see you in a fortnight and you'll see Roma next week. Okay, bye. And I'm looking forward to, you can keep commenting because I'm going to come back, make a cup of tea and read your comments. Okay, bye.